I see Wilfried and David. Welcome and happy birthday, Wilfried.
Oh, don't remind me, please.
It's a blessing.
Just
Thank you.
happy 20th birthday.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
I've
you for
spent
being
them all
with
my
us.
life, so no worries about the age.
Okay. We'll let you in the hands of Jeff Hammond.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you, Francisco and Judy as well.
Good afternoon, Mr. Eibach. I hope you remember me from the Darrell Waltrip days.
I certainly do, but I can't remember that you ever called me Mr. Eibach, and I'm not used to be called Mr. Eibach. Please, I'm Wilfried, and when you allow me to say Jeff, I feel much better.
Okay, we'll both agree to that right there, Wilfred. I mean, it's good to see you, sir. And man, what can I say? It's been a long time since the very beginning of the introduction of your product into the United States. And I'm proud to say that I was one of the very first race teams to try your stuff. And I mean, it was the beginning. I remember you coming in, and I believe your daughter was with you. And, it's incredible. I mean, I'm seeing here right now, 35 years in the business in the United States here. I mean, that's impressive, sir. You've done racing a great service.
Yeah, I remember the days you and I, we were close to Darrell Waltrip. He actually was, I didn't think about that at that time, but he became a good friend. And at that time Eibach was a nobody from Germany. Okay, we were number one in Germany and maybe in Europe, and it got a little bit boring. I needed new adventures and challenges. So then I met you, and now we are nearly 30 years later and feel pretty well and feel very much American. Proud to be here and proud to be part of the motorsport industry.
I've got to understand, how do you carry on what you started so long ago, or that it was started and you carrying it on, but how do you keep coming up with the innovations? I mean, what's your driving force? I mean, I've saw a lot of videos and listened to a lot of your seminars and your explanations about what a spring does versus what a shock does, but yet there's got to be something that makes you get out of bed every day and come up with the new ideas, the new product that you're able to give the racing community, because we're not talking about linear, we're talking about this, we're talking about, progressive. There's so many variables that I never dreamed were in a spring until you started exposing it to me.
I would say it's a drive for challenges and then for very trustful teamwork, and to be an example and see now more than 60 years ago, I'm more or less at the helm of this company, and to see that you can inspire so many other people around you to follow you the same route and go for challenges and then listen to the market. I never thought we would have one day more than 1,400 different part numbers alone for racing in stock. Mm-hmm. But at that time, I made the commitment for myself. We want to be there for every single need for race springs in the market. So we always got new requests for mini midgets and whatever was out there, and we followed this demand. And so now we feel we are at the peak of the industry when it comes to race springs.
Well, you've done an outstanding job. And David, good afternoon to you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Even though I think our title says springtime year round, and we're both wearing jackets here for California. It's a little chilly, but we're doing great.
So how about bring me up to speed about how things went with you guys in 2022, and what are the new things that are on the horizon for 2023?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I can start. Wilfred always can add some color to whatever we're talking about. So Yeah, the last few years have been great. Obviously, we had our challenges, but I think the challenges challenged the team even more than ever, right? So it kind of exposed some areas that we needed to improve in, which we did. I think that's one thing you were asking, how we can continue to improve. Well, I think it starts with the top on down. Wilford's always given us everything we need. He's a great inspiration. Obviously, you've worked with him directly, you know. I've had the privilege of being over here more than 10 years now. Ever since I've been here, we've been inspired to keep pushing, work with the best teams, build the best stuff. So that's what we did here the last couple of years. We were faced with some challenges, obviously, with COVID and manufacturing and supply chain and materials and whatnot, but it's only making us stronger. So we've invested in the company. We have a lot of automation that was brought in, some efficiencies, computer-wise and whatnot, robotics, as well as some really new machinery. All of it's not even here, but we improved our grinding capacity by over 25%. Brought in 2 new grinding machines last couple of years. So there's that. The biggest one I'll let Wilford talk about, but we're about to revolutionize spring making here once again. We'll have one of the only Wafios German CNC winder of this size that's coming into the United States. So it's going to allow us to cold wind spring wire up to 22 millimeters, which currently we've had to, the material isn't quite as hardened, so it allows to wind chrome silicon wire, which will produce lighter springs with more travel, and we won't have the hardening process. So that's really exciting. Wilford can probably tell you a little bit more about the specifics on that.
Yeah, it's first of all, we are here in California, and we know there are not all companies remaining in California because of higher costs, higher leases for buildings, for production buildings. We are going to stay here in California because here we were fortunate enough to buy our own building of 155 square feet right on the freeway, on the intersection 91 and 15, very visible. But more important, it is we have here a workforce of nearly 140 well-trained people, which trained over the last 35 years, and they spring makers, in my words, excuse me, in the whole North America. So it is their home and it is our home. Coming back to motorsports, and we came here first of all for performance springs, lowering springs, lift springs, and so on. But motorsport springs have become our prime product here for us here in the United States, and we produce 80% of the needs of for all our markets all around the world, for Japan and for Indonesia and for China and for Australia, where we are market leader as well. 80% of those spring needs are made here in Corona, and we have the lowest tolerances with plus minus 2% of the swing rate, which is unbeaten in the market yet. But more important for me is we started as a motorsport or performance spring company. Today, one of the most sought OEM partners, especially in Europe. Our customer, you can't buy a Ferrari without our product. McLaren, Bugatti, BMW M, all BMW M's are coming with our product. All the new so-called active stabilizing systems, which you see on all the Bentleys and the big SUVs, they're all made at our plant in Germany. So, and it's an amazing thing to come from motorsports and all of a sudden being one of the top partners for the top motorsport automotive industries. So here, that keeps me on my feet, and this is the best medicine to have. And we have some extra challenges coming up also for the US. You want to mention one? ERL, for example, motocross.
Yeah, so we do have some exciting expansion news coming up. ERL line, which Wilford just mentioned, which is a replacement line spring. So it's basically a stock spring, height and whatnot for a replacement for a vehicle, a stock vehicle, but it's a performance upgraded spring, if that makes sense. So you're not getting a cheap replacement spring for the customers that live in the East Coast or whatever. They're getting the salt rust and whatnot. You're getting an Eibach performance spring with the OE rates and dimensions or whatnot. But the people that don't want a lowering spring, so that's new for us. Obviously, we've done the performance stuff and lowering lifting, so that whole line will be new. So Germany's already implemented it, and we're looking to bring it over next year. But we've already had a lot of interest in Canada, definitely in the East Coast, a lot of our distributors. So that'll be something new that we'll be bringing in next year.
Yeah. Shall I continue?
Sure.
Thank you. So, yes, being in California is close to Los Angeles, but far away from the East Coast. So, and we see, especially also with the replacement line, where there's more market in states where you have winter conditions. So we are seriously intending to have a distribution center set up somewhere at the East Coast, possibly around North Carolina, South Carolina, in the next year. So then we will be even closer to our customers, and they don't have to wait for this long freight time from here to there.
By the way, that's breaking news. So that's the first
Oh.
time that we've mentioned that to anybody, and that was supposed to be a secret, Wilford. But
Holy moly.
That's
no,
out of the bag now.
it wasn't a secret. We planned on just letting everybody know here on this show. So that was first time that we've.
We're going to keep it amongst the few of our best friends. Okay, we're just going to make sure it's just that's a little select few. And but no, that's exciting news to know that the expansion still is going on, and it will see that here in the near future. A lot of the things, and one of the biggest things I think about your company is obviously precision. I mean, you have said it as your main goal that if you give me something and that I need, that's what it's going to be. And if I ask you to have it do something special, if you put it in the spring, that special was there. But that doesn't come without testing. How do you handle your testing out there with your company as far as perfecting your Eibach springs? I mean, because again, everybody will tell you they're reliable and repeatable.
Spring is one important component of the whole suspension system, and actually the spring is dampening the shock. So the shock has to control the spring. So to engineer the best spring, you have to understand the shock absorber or the damper, which is the better expression, and also the stabilizer bar. So this Corona is the only place worldwide which I know where springs, dampers, and stabilizer bars are engineered and tested together. An orchestra can only play in harmony when each instrument is fine-tuned. And that's what we do here on the suspension side. And we understand how these three components or these three instruments play together. And we can fine-tune them, then they play in the best harmony possible.
Jeff, I'm going to add to that. I think as far as moving forward progression over the years, we learned from you guys. So, every form of racing is pushing the envelope in a different area. We know how to make a spring, but we don't exactly know how you guys are using them. So we rely on working with all the teams, and we work with every major series in the United States and globally. I mean, the list goes on, but NASCAR, ARCA, IndyCar, IMSA, Supercross, Whelen, late models, King of the Hammers, IMCA, World of Outlaws, all the way down to quarter midgets and legends. So, each one of these racing series has a different need for what the spring, what they're looking for the spring to do. So over the years, obviously, we have the recipe. We get better with our materials, with our machinery, making the springs, tolerances get tighter, but working with the race teams is what really, I think, fuels our progression.
No, you're
I like to add one thing about NASCAR. I'm a NASCAR fan. Not everyone in Europe does understand NASCAR. So it took us 3 months on the best running equipment in Germany to make an aggressive spring for NASCAR, which everybody says this is not possible. And this spring, I showed it at the SEMA show on the podium. It looked so crude. It was aggressive, and it was exactly that was what NASCAR was looking for at that time. So NASCAR is for me the highest technology, not on the level of Formula One, but you have to understand each component, each little component to fine-tune it to win. And this is more fascinating, to be honest. Formula One is high-tech, I know, but I'm excited about NASCAR, and then there's a similar series in Australia, and they are similar. They use this similar engines, and these two race series, they fascinate me the most.
Well, I know that, we've come a long way from trying to use a spring to ride the bumps to where all of a sudden we're using the springs to stop the car from going any lower and coil binding it. But yet it's still got to have a little bit of a memory to it, that once the downforce and everything comes off of it, that it has the ability to get back up off the ground a certain amount. And to me, I think that's been one of the most amazing things is figuring out the curve on a spring so that you get that certain little bit of ride in it, but at the same time, it's sitting there on the racetrack itself. I mean, it takes a special group of people to come up with something that will work for that application, and that to me is what's amazing.
Well, I think that's an interesting point because it's not only one part, the spring that's getting better, but just like you said, the testing equipment. Back in the day, you guys didn't have all the testing equipment to put, a pull down and get load rates and stuff that was as accurate as or as easy as there is today. So every time there's an improvement somewhere else in the industry, which is great. I've watched this show all week and learned a bunch. I think this industry week is great for everybody, and we're all lucky to be in this industry that we all love. But as we all improve our own bits of this puzzle, then it forces everybody else to improve too, and that's exactly what keeps pushing us.
So we know you do a lot of variations. What is your next big step? Let's say going into 2023 or on down the road, that's going to be coming out from your company? Because again, I know you want to make springs, but there are the other things that you make that go along with your springs.
There's one major goal. That is keep this company family owned. And we wouldn't be there if there would be greedy shareholders who would have been asking for major dividends every year. It took us 32 years here before we paid any we paid any dividend to the mother company. Mother company is our holding, Eibach Industries, and Eibach USA. Eibach Inc. is a sister company of Heinrich Eibach GmbH. So we started here, and I called the company Eibach North America, and which was a big mistake. That tells everyone we are just an appendix of whatever mother company somewhere else. So I said, we want to be our own. And for many years, we went independent from Germany. We developed our own stuff. Just in the last couple of years, we harmonized everything together, and the harmony between the companies, including our plant in China, is better than ever. We really are not talking about friendship or partnership among us here in the company. We are really family. David here, I can't tell you how much I like him. We went together to Baja several times. First, I was the guide, and then I told him 2 years later, next time you are the guide. That's how we are. And to keep this passion, this fascination for everyone alive, I was possibly not the best, not the worst sample. So, but there are so many people who are carrying on, and everything is set up that this company will stay as it is. The major here of mine is our Eibach Charity Foundation, and they are members in the board of trustees who are breathing the same spirit as I always did and as we all do today. That's the most important part. Beyond that, we don't want to be a mass producer. We want to be the supplier for branded for the most prominent vehicles around the world, which includes the name which I mentioned. So, but we don't want to be a mass producer. We want to be with BMW M, but we don't want to be with BMW. We want to be with Mercedes AMG, but not with a normal Mercedes. So that is our goal. And I call myself once in a while a fashion designer for performance suspension for the automotive industry. Like, yeah, that's how I feel, making a little bit fun with myself.
I totally understand, and I appreciate that. Hey, real quick, guys, before we go much further, I want to make sure that some of the folks that are attendees and that they're giving their hellos and everything. And Alex Stryler says hello, Wilfred. And a gentleman named John Warniak, longtime engineer.
Yeah.
I know John pretty well myself. And he said, hey, Jeff, please ask Wilfred about the Three Musketeers from Men.
Yeah. One is at the moment in Germany with his Porsche friends. It is Alvin Springer, ex-president of Porsche Motorsports in the US for many, many years, still involved with motorsports, especially the balance of performance. And the other one is Yves Morisot. He's the owner and founder of Stand 21. He has his Racing Goes Safer conferences. One will be held at the PRI show soon, next week, and I will be there as well. So the Three Musketeers started it. Before I turned 70, I talked to my friends here, the Baja 1000 friends, including Selfish and all these guys. I said, I have one thing on the bucket list. I want to drive to Baja South, Baja San Jose del Cabo by myself. Who's going to join me? And then we had a bunch of people there, and all from this industry, including Nico Saad from the San Nicolas Hotel in Ensenada. And he's now, fortunately, I like him therefore very much. He's older than I am. So, and we all drove together. We had some people with service vehicles taking care of us. We did the tour twice. And since then, I saw Marty Fiolka a little bit earlier. Marty Fiolka brought me to off-road. He took me in a pre-qualifying vehicle and drove me through the mud, and we were all dirty from top to the feet. And since then, I'm addicted to off-road and many other things which happen here in the country. I'm an American.
Oh, man. So, David, when will you have the new machine that you were telling us about at the very beginning of this? When will it be there at your base, I guess, there in California? Is that where it's going to wind up being?
Yes, we should have it running mid next year. It's so big and powerful. It's requiring us to redig some foundations and some electrical and whatnot. But yeah, you just asked what was coming up in the future. So that one's obviously number one on our list, most exciting. That's going to revolutionize some of the bigger springs and and off-road and even the new Raptors and TRXs and stuff that have big gauge wire springs in them. So we should have that up and running mid next year. The new grinder just got fired up. And we have a couple other ones coming too that'll help with the production. So a couple years prior to that, we redid the warehouse with some efficiencies and more spaces to hold. So yeah, we're set better than ever to hopefully we won't have too much of a dip here in this little recession or whatever we want to call it. But so far so good on that. But we'll be ready and bigger and better than ever when it comes back. So.
The material which we brought, or the technology of spring mining, which we brought to the US, is cold forming out of high tensile chrome silicon alloy pre-hardened material. And as bigger the springs get, as more they are still outbound. And there are some limits in the tensile strength. So to wind a spring out of this high tensile material needs these special machines. And we had it until now up to 17.5 millimeter wire diameter, but this doesn't cover the heavier pickup trucks, especially with the batteries. So with the new machine, we will be able to do that. I always ask myself, why don't we have more competition here in the country? It's not because of the winding, it's because of the grinding. OE springs don't need to be ground, and therefore all the OE spring manufacturers, they don't have this kind of equipment. They don't need it. So therefore, the grinding process, which is way more time consuming than the winding process, but it is very important to keep the springs absolutely straight and parallel. Otherwise, you have sidewheels on the damper or whatever, and that causes trouble. So that's the whole formula, which makes us a little bit outstanding here in the market. And we are ready to continue. And thanks to you guys, for me to be part of this industry, as I said before, I'm so proud of it. And I will continue. When I say I, that means the company will continue also after me. But I will be around for a while. This kind of business is the best medicine for me.
Thank you,
we hope
Wilfred.
we hope you stay around for a very long time, Wilfred. We're a big fan. You're an inspiration for all of us out there. Let's not forget that Wilfred took a small family business with, I believe, 4 or 5 employees. It was a little internship and transformed it to this absolutely global, magnificent brand. And you see Eibach Springs and every race cars around the world at the top level, all the way down to grassroots. And that is really what this industry is about. And it's privately owned. So that's probably even better, and so thank you for everything you do. Thank you, David, for making this possible. Thank you for all your support. Hello to all our friends in Corona and in Germany at Eibach, and thank you very much for being with us. So,
And I might say, it's been fun to see all your locations on your backdrop.
yes.
Thanks. And I have to say one word to you. Coming back to Steve Lewis, your times with Steve Lewis, you, Judy, you, Francis, what you have built up here, listen, the whole world is listening to you, what you have built up, it's unbelievable. Highest respect, congratulations, and all the people who are involved this week with you, I think very similar. Congratulations, and see you hopefully at PI.
Thank you. We will see.
Honor being on.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Jeff.
Okay, we'll see you soon. Well, Jeff, great sessions again. Thank you for being the host here.
Registering on ePartrade is easy. To start, click on the Join for Free button on the homepage. First, search your company to see if it's already in our database. If you see your company on the list, click on it to select it. Then, choose Claim Company if you are one of the decision makers, an owner, marketing person, or main company contact. Or choose Join Company if you are an employee, and press Continue. If you couldn't find your company in our database, select Register a New Company. On the following page, fill out your name, email, phone number, job title, and choose a secure password. If you chose Register a New Company, you'll need to choose your business type. Select Supplier if you're looking to display products or services and connect with buyers. Choose Racing Business if you're looking to source new parts and connect with suppliers. Choose Race Team if you own or are a member of a professional race team. Then, enter your company name. Please provide a website, Facebook page, or LinkedIn if you have one, and choose to either claim or join the company. You can view and agree to our terms of use here. If you'd like to receive our weekly newsletter, choose Accept. Finally, click Register Now and your registration will be submitted for approval. An email will be sent to your inbox. Please confirm your email address and you will be approved shortly. Welcome to eParTrade.